Hey guys, how you been? Sorry for the gap in between. Kind of fell sick for a week or so, and then I had my computer fuck up on me. I lost most of my data, which included, all my research and studies that I had downloaded and stored. Um, Basically, I lost everything related to MGTOW. I had a backup for all my other stuff, but the MGTOW folder was on my desktop, for ease of access. And because my Windows got corrupt, I could not recover any data from what I was on the desktop. So, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. Um, but fortunately, I got my logo and banner from my Facebook page. So, I'm glad I don't have to, work on making the whole thing up again. Um, I guess, silver lining, I guess. Anyway, let's get started. So first we have the case of abducted grooms in a state named Bihar. I think it's part of the northern part of India. And, here's the thing. You want to go your own way, these people are not going to let you. So there were over 3,000 men abducted and forced to marry at gunpoint. The article I referred to, though, seems to take this extremely lightly, considering the gravity of the situation. So first they write about the case of a man who was kidnapped, and on his wedding day, the cops came to rescue him, but the family of the bride and the relatives made the cops retreat. The cops then came back with greater force and a lot of anger and did some, riot control shit. So they beat the shit out of a lot of people. Deservedly so, I believe. And now I quote the article for the rest of the incident. Now a week later, with injuries all over her body, Julie is still struggling to walk straight. So Julie is the woman who was supposed to get married to this man, and the man was supposed to, get married to her. The Muzaffarpur Senior Superintendent of Police, Vivek Kumar, has suspended Gaigat Police Station in charge Rajesh Chowdhury, holding him responsible for excesses. The only positive outcome for Julie in the entire drama was that her husband, who was reluctant to marry her initially, began to empathize, seeing her writhing in pain. And this is what he says: I have accepted her as my better half. Whatever difference there is between our families, it will get over shortly. Time will heal everything. So this guy was kidnapped, forced to marry, and he still says time will heal everything and that he wants to stay with this woman and family. I really don't know what to say. I mean, the cuck in him just won't die. I mean, I can see that, I can see that the charge, the riot control or whatever it is that you call it, was a bit excessive, but they did have a kidnapped person and they were threatening violence. I think the fucking charge was to be expected. Did the senior cop think the station in charge was just supposed to sit and watch the guy get married at gunpoint, have the refreshments, and then leave? Was that what he wanted? Anyway, the article continues. Known as Pakadva Viva. Okay, I honestly don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Pakadva Viva. Yeah, I think it's Pakadva Viva. Marriage by abduction. The tradition is simple. Zero in on a prospective groom, kidnap him, and make him tie the nuptial knot at gunpoint. And the numbers are in fact growing. Bihar, this is just one state, witnessed 3,075 kidnapping for marriage in 2016. It was 3,001 in 2015 and 2,533 in 2014. And a majority of these marriages survive. Can you believe that? So abduction for marriage appears to have remained unabated in 2017 too. According to the figures available with the police, Bihar already has reported 830 kidnappings for marriage by March this year. By March, in 3 months, 830. On the other hand, only 8 cases of kidnappings for ransom, which Bihar was once infamous for, have been registered during this period. So, well, you know what? Well, to tell you the truth, kidnapping for marriage is a lot more profitable compared to kidnapping for ransom. I mean, in the case of ransom, you get a one-off payment, but in the former, the marriage, the woman and her family get a workhorse for free, who will work till he can work no more, and provide funds for the family and protect the family, and so on and fucking so forth. Now, this is a real kicker, isn't it? I mean, the article goes on to say that dowry is the cause of all this kidnapping. I mean, come on. You're gonna blame some fucking shit, not the person who does the kidnapping? So, apparently the bride's family does this in order to avoid paying dowry. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? It says, families resort to snatch men, often young boys, because it is easier than approaching boys' families and cheaper than paying the standard dowry, which is in lakhs plus a vehicle. Okay, for those of you who don't understand lakhs, I think that's 100,000. Okay, so this is beyond fucked up, right? No remorse for the men that have been kidnapped and forced into marriage. Absolutely fucking none. I mean, people would be fucking in the streets right now if this was the case for women. Yeah, I'm sure it happens. And you see the amount of protest against that. But you know what? It doesn't really surprise me at all that much. But it does make my blood boil. I've got to tell you that. It does make my blood boil because it really pisses me off. I mean, I'm pretty sure it pisses you off too. I mean, it goes on to give a few more instances of kidnapping, but the part that made me extremely fucking mad was this, this line. So it's after they speak about a few cases. You can read it in the article if you want to put it in the description below. So at the end they say, all the three brothers are now happily settled with their wives. As the saying goes, every good marriage begins in tears. I mean, you know what? I wonder what the reaction would be if we said this to a woman who was married to her rape victim. After all, every good marriage begins in tears. You know what the reaction would be. I know what the reaction would be. I'll be fucking lynched. And yeah, I would have deserved it. And so do these fucking people right now. Okay, to be honest, I'm not actually advocating lynching anybody. I hate it, because in the end, you're going to lynch a man after all, and I don't want that happening. But this is just me. Okay, I know I sound like I'm smiling, but I'm actually pissed off. I sound happy, but to be honest, I'm pissed off, alright? This is extremely annoying. I mean, it doesn't matter, there was a crime committed. Kidnapping, and they're saying it's alright because it ended up alright. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I call these fuckers heartless, and I call the men who force women to marry the biggest idiots in the world. That's like digging your own grave, jumping into it, and having a remote-controlled excavator dump the mud on you. Anyway, this gives a whole new meaning to the term shotgun wedding. As we move on, we get to see another state which is willing to provide free education up to doctorate. But yeah, as you guessed, only for the people with the vagina. In a country with a high child labor rate, and most of them being boys. I think the numbers, if I'm not wrong, is for every one girl that's in child labor, there are 2 boys in it. So double the number of boys are in, bonded labor during their childhood. And what does this tell them? You know what? This just tells them you don't really care about them, do you? I mean, gynocentrism just comes up in every single thing that you can think of. And it's a bitch and a half. And you know what's worse? It's the fact that the men are the ones enforcing this shit. But, you know what? Go ahead. The government will keep providing free education to girls, and we will see what happens in the future. Well, in this case, this is what happens. Why are millions of Indian women dropping out of work? Of course, and they do give a variety of excuses. Quote, predictable social norms are attributed to women quitting work in India. Marriage, motherhood, vexed gender relations and biases, and of course the ever-living patriarchy. Of course, they never tried to explore the question, what if these women actually do not want to work? That it was their choice to leave work? I mean, women are adults, aren't they? And they are capable of deciding what to do for themselves, aren't they? Here's one reason why a lot of women would stop working. Because they have a choice once they get married. If she does not want to work, she does not have to. And she's entitled to all the money her husband makes, legally and socially. Why would she want to drain herself mentally and physically by working if given the choice? maybe you should really stop to think about what the external forces are and just think about what women really want. Now, the article goes on to say, as usual, that the workplace should change to suit women and not that women should change to suit the fucking workplace. Everything has to revolve around how they want it. But, here's the fucked up part, though. Here's the really fucked up part. They will get what they want. They will. I'm not kidding. They will fucking get what they want. Absolutely sure. Let's just, be part of the whole ride. That's all we can do at the moment. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Till next time.